All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a technology that aims to solve one of the biggest frustrations with modern AI, the thing that drives us all crazy. Why can't it connect to your world? Let's dive into the Model Context Protocol.
Okay, let's kick things off with a puzzle, something you've probably wondered about yourself. You've got these incredibly smart AIs, right? They can write poetry, they can code, but ask one to do something simple, like find a recent file on your own computer? Nope, can't do it. So what's the deal?
Well, the problem really is that most AIs are basically a brain in a jar. You see it here on the one side, the isolated LLM. It's totally cut off. It has no access to your stuff, your personal data, the apps you use every single day. It's just floating in a void. And that's where this idea of a connected LLM comes into play. So this isolation, it basically creates what we can call the AI's walled garden. Yeah, it's a nice, safe little space, but it also means the AI is trapped, which really limits what it can actually do for you.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Your AI can't organize your messy desktop because, well, it can't even see your desktop. It has no idea what the status of your project is because it can't log into your company's tools. Heck, it can't even tell you if it's raining outside right now. It is completely and utterly trapped.
Okay, so how do we bust down these walls? Well, this is where we get to the solution, a kind of universal connector.
And that solution is a really cool new open standard called the Model Context Protocol. Let's just call it MCP. You can think of it as a common language, a standard way for any app to give context and tools to any large language model out there.
And you know, the absolute best way to get your head around this is with this analogy. Think of MCP as a USB-C port, but for AI applications. It's brilliant,
Right? Think about it. Remember that drawer full of random cables we all used to have? A total mess. Then USB-C came along and boom, one standard to connect everything. MAP is trying to do that exact same thing for the world of AI. It's creating one standard way to build these connections so you can plug any AI into any tool, and you don't need a million different custom-built adapters. So that all sounds great in theory, but how does this thing actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look. It's actually built on a pretty straightforward client-server setup. You've got three main players. First, there's the AI host. That's just the application you're interacting with. That host uses what's called an MCP client to reach out and connect to an MCP server. And that server is the thing that's holding all the good stuff, the data and the tools the AI needs. And the way they talk to each other is by using these three simple building blocks, or what MCP calls primitives. First, you have tools. These are just actions the AI can take, like calling an API to get the weather. Then you've got resources, which is the data it can look at, the actual contents of a file. And finally, prompts, which are basically just reusable templates that help steer the AI in the right direction.
Okay, let's move on and see how all these pieces fit together to do stuff in the real world. This is really where the AI stops being just a chatbot and starts becoming a real teammate.
First off, and this is super important, MCP can connect to local servers that are running right there on your own machine. This gives it secure, direct access to your files and your apps.
And a perfect example of this is the file system server. Once you connect it, you're basically giving the AI the ability to read your files, create new ones, move things around, clean up your folders, become your personal file manager. But, and this is key, only with your permission for every step.
But it doesn't just stop at your local computer. MCP also connects to remote servers, out there on the internet. This is how the AI finally gets to see the outside world. So it can plug into a weather API, or your company's project management tool, or documentation systems, or even code repositories. The possibilities here are just huge.
Now this is maybe the most important part of the whole thing. You are always in control. The AI isn't just going to go rogue and start deleting files. No way. For every single action it wants to take, whether that's saving a document or pinging an API, it has to stop and ask you for explicit permission. You have the final say, always.
All right, next up, building your own connections. Because MCP is an open protocol, you're not locked into some closed system. You can actually build your very own connections.
And to make that as easy as possible, they've released official software development kits, SDKs. Right now, there are 2 of them, for Python and TypeScript, which covers a huge number of developers out there.
And the actual workflow for building one of these servers is designed to be super straightforward. You can actually use an LLM to help you write the description of your server's tools, then you use the SDK to build it, and then you can test and debug the whole thing with a special tool called the MCP Inspector. It's a really nice, clean process.
So what does this all mean? What will you connect? See, MCP is more than just another protocol. It's really about opening the door to a future where AI is universally connected and actually genuinely helpful. It's the key that finally unlocks that walled garden we talked about.
And that really brings us to the big question. For pretty much the first time, there's a standard way to plug these powerful AI brains into, well, anything, any tool, any database, any service. So the question isn't, can we do it anymore? The question is, what are we going to build with it? So I'll leave you with this. If you could connect your AI to absolutely anything, what's the first problem you would solve?